shopping is awful. I'm not embarrassed to admit the fact that I have reached peak 2020 laziness. I have a subscription for all of my groceries. They arrive via delivery, and if I ever need anything desperately, then I'll order it on Amazon Prime now. But having said that, I think the idea of building a supermarket in Minecraft is actually quite interesting. There's a bunch of redstone systems that we can build into this, a ton of cool details that I actually think should be fairly entertaining. So as you can see, I've built up the shell. This is my supermarket. I think this is quite cool. It's quite a nice looking build. So now let's start filling it up. First things first, security systems. Now I don't know about you, but every single time I go to the supermarket, these things always seem to be malfunctioning, so I don't know if they actually have these in other countries, okay? But in England, we have these pair of, like, I think are they radar? I honestly don't know how they work. You know, I've never even questioned to myself how these things function. All I know is that if you walk out of the shop having stolen something, they fire off and they set off all the alarms. The only issue is that they never tend to work in the supermarkets that I go into, and they go on and off every single time someone comes in. So I'm going to try my best to recreate exactly this with a redstone build. Now I don't want them to go off every single time, but I think they should go off a decent quantity of the time. Right, let's give this setup a go. Okay, that's good. We got off scot-free. Alright, we're all clear. That's okay, that's not a bad start. Just a little alarm kicking off. That seems like a good way to begin. Let's release some attack dogs. Do they have those at your supermarket? They have them at my supermarket. It's honestly why these malfunctions are so devastating. I mean, seriously. Right, with the simple addition of this extra circuit right here, which is then going to run into these things, I think we could be onto a winner. So perfect. That has functioned exactly how I imagined it would. Brilliant. And just as a tip, if you ever do steal something in a supermarket, just, dodge around like that. I just want to make it clear that was not a tip for real life. By the way, that was a tip from my supermarket. Don't steal things from supermarkets. Now, when it comes to the actual items and the aisles and things like that, I don't think we can really do anything too exciting. So I'm just going to place these in like this. Now, my plan for how I'm actually going to put items in here is I'm hoping, can I place item frames? I mean, I'm assuming I can place an item frame in there and it will be... Okay. Alright, I've come up with an alternative idea that I actually think is really quite good. I am going through the food and drink section of MinecraftHeads.com and I am just gradually filling up my shelves. So that is a roast chicken, which I personally really like. We've got a glass of orange juice there, we've got sandwiches, and gradually I'm going to fill up the shelves with various different groceries. Although one thing I will say is that my organisation is pretty terrible. I've got, a sandwich in between two orange juices, a roast chicken, another sandwich. I mean, the cross-contamination is just nuts. But I gotta say, this does look pretty cool now that it is fully filled in. We got Monster Energy, Red Bulls, whatever that is. We don't actually sell that in England, but I recognise the can, jam jars, all that sort of thing. And I gotta say, fairly happy with this so far. Right, okay, next up, I would say rotisserie chickens. I like the idea of rotisserie chickens. I think this is a fairly strong start. So we have the rotisserie thing, and then inside here we're going to have the chickens, and then I guess if you buy a rotisserie chicken, unfortunately one of the chickens is going to meet a fairly fiery end, and then it will pop out into a chest. The only thing that I can't quite work out is how I'm actually going to get the chicken in there. Am I able to summon a chicken? Give me a second to work this out. Summon chicken with the squiggles and then a few minuses and things like that, and this does the trick. Which I have to say actually looks even better than I was kind of expecting. So now with the redstone fully done, which I have to say wasn't easy, by the way. Wait, what? Why are the chickens not catching fire? No! 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 It's fundamentally flawed! The fire charges are hitting my rotisserie spinner thing. So after a complete redesign, it is now all working. It didn't. It burnt all the chicken. This is just a terrible situation all round, to be honest. After almost setting fire to my computer, seriously, I don't want to talk to you about how long this has taken me. I think I've got a working system. There we go. So we hit the button. We get a couple of rotisserie chickens. All of the eggs and all of the feathers have been fully filtered out from the system. And this is now fully functional. And I have to say, it's worth the time and effort because I think this is really, really cool. By far, the coolest design for a chicken farm. Right, next up, we're going to have an ATM machine because it feels like that would be a good thing to have. Now, what does an ATM machine look like? I also can't wait for Iskal to get angry at me because he hates the fact that I say ATM machine when the M in ATM stands for machine. So I'm essentially saying automatic telling machine. What does AT stand for? That's honestly the bigger mystery here instead of the machine bit. Does this look like an ATM machine? I mean, I feel like it looks kind of like one. If anything, it just looks like a super fancy one. And the first part of it is actually working. So I put my debit card in there, hit the button, and it will be processed by the machine. Now, there isn't actually any output to it yet, but the redstone itself is functioning. If I put anything else in here, then it shouldn't be able to go through. Yep, so that's good. That means that no one else can access my money. Now, I guess every single time we put our card in, it should probably output maybe, let's say 10 diamonds. Is that a good amount? I'd say it's a good amount. So my debit card is in the ATM machine. I stand here and out they come. And if I need more than 10 diamonds, then I just hit the button multiple times and I will get 10. This is actually quite a cool system. I'm a big fan of this tiny little build here. Now, at the back of the store here, I say we have some form of sandwich maker. Kind of like, I guess, I mean, Subway would probably be the right way to say what it is, but I'm not 100% certain we're going to be able to pull off the complete customization of a Subway. However, we are going to go for a similar color scheme. Now, I think we're actually going to automate this entire process, so instead of having people making the sandwiches, we're going to have robots making the sandwiches. We're going to be flicking levers, and then your output, a sandwich will be outputted. Let's see how well we can make this work. What do you think to this selection? Obviously, bread. Bread should kind of be a given, but you know, sometimes maybe on your ketogenic diet, maybe you want carb-free life. Okay, so we're going to make it an option, right? And then we have the ability to have steak, pork, tomatoes, lettuce, pickles, and egg for mayonnaise, or you can have an egg. I mean, it's entirely up to you. So that's our customizability. Each one of these levers that we flick is going to output an item that is going to pop through into the chest, and I guess the player has to assemble the sandwich themselves. Now, the redstone for this isn't too crazy, but I have done some interesting things. So now I'm going to try it out for the first time, and let's see if we actually get a sandwich. So my dream sandwich right now would be bread, beef, lettuce, and mayonnaise. To be honest with you, I'm quite a boring individual when it comes to my sandwiches. So let's see what happens. What we should get, well, I've definitely seen better. Let's try that again with a slight button relocation. Right, what I'm hoping for here is 2 slices of bread and then all of the things for my sandwich, okay? So there's my mayonnaise, there's my salad, there's my beef, and then there we have the 2 slices coming in. So now we can assemble up our sandwich and I guess eat it. I mean, I wish. Can you imagine how cool it would be if you could take the steak and put it in the bread and then add things to it and it would increase your saturation? I mean, it's not the most useful feature in Minecraft, but I still feel like it should be a feature in Minecraft. I mean, look how delicious that is. We should definitely be able to place them as well, like cake. Oh, this is actually making me hungry in real life. How sad is that? I've been playing Minecraft for a long time today without eating. This is making me hungry. Anyway, one important thing for the supermarket is, of course, the checkout. Now, I'm assuming you guys have this in other countries, but in England, we have like a conveyor belt, which moves the items through, and then we have the scanner, which is like a bloop, and that basically tells you that the item has been scanned, and then once you do that, you pay, and then you take your items out of there. Now, I'm going to try being the operative word, to make something a little bit like that. Okay, I think this could come in handy here. So originally I was going to use honey blocks for the transportation of the items, but then I thought to myself, if we use soul sand, it will still activate something like this, the piece of string, so that we can still have the sound effect, and then we don't have to worry about the honey blocks sticking to one another and just causing a massive mess. I think we could be onto something here. Right, let's build up a piston feed tape. Because let's face it, this would not be a Mumbo Jumbo video without some form of piston feed tape. This could be a little bit of a problem though. Nothing that a tiny bit of reworking shouldn't fix. Man, this security system is going to get in the way. Right, part 1 should now all be completed. So if I throw some items on here. Okay, so then they disappear. Right, that's a problem. So we're going to have to work on that. Right, if we get some string though, right, and we place it down here. Okay, and then we're going to have an observer, and we're going to have some things connecting into this, such as a redstone lamp and then a note block. So that's about right. This should now make the noise. Okay, so it does it twice. It's almost perfect. Okay, how can I make it so that it doesn't do it twice? I guess just a T flip-flop. And then what I'm also going to do is add in an extra circuit out the back here, which is hopefully going to push the items off of the conveyor belts, and it's going to push them into your trolley so that you can take them away. This should all work. I apologise for the constant sound of pistons, by the way. I mean, it's a nightmare, but this is the only way that I can make this work. So I've just bought a bunch of redstone blocks from the supermarket, or I've picked them up from the shelf. So I'm going to run over, I'm going to chuck it onto the conveyor belt. It goes across like this. And then it goes straight through into my shopping trolley. So then eventually when this thing fills up, I can then take out the store, trip the security system, and get chased down by dogs because I haven't paid. I personally am very, very happy with this construction. I think it's brilliant. Especially now that there is actually now a place for people to pay. Before, there wasn't. It was kind of like a scan your items and then take your stuff out. Now, people have to pay. If they don't, obviously the security systems will hopefully malfunction, kicking in, and having them chased down by dogs. I mean, that's... yeah, that only seems fair. Anyway, this supermarket is now all completed. I gotta say, I'm very, very pleased with this thing. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next video. I just broke that window. We're going to just completely ignore the fact that that ever happened, okay? That's the way that I deal with these things. I started recording. I don't know what I'm gonna say for this outro. I've got 10 seconds to kill. It's getting dark. It's dark. It's dark outside. It's getting dark earlier. Well, no, it's not. No, it's getting dark later now. Yeah, time's up. One.